Okay, what's going on, everybody? I need to open a Dr. Pepper, so I need one hand. All right, so I haven't been doing daily uploads just because of the fact that we are building the giveaway car. So it should be another week, and I think maybe this week coming up I'll start doing daily uploads again. But right now, I don't have time because me and Trevor usually, like last night, we stayed up till like 4 or 5 in the morning. So it's kind of, hard to go home and edit videos. So once we're done with the giveaway car, I'll start doing daily uploads. But today I've been working on the juke. So last night, if you guys saw, we kind of did a little thing, and we're like, oh, look at this paint. But yeah, Trevor painted the hood and the bumper, but I didn't notice that I needed to spot weld these pieces in, so I'm gonna have to drill these pieces out right here. It's like 5 spot welds on each side, not a really big deal. So gonna do that and then actually weld some new pieces in, and then be able to put the new bun on and the new hood. So it's to drive the juke again, which it probably needs brakes, because when I pulled it in the garage, it kind of sounded like it had like a rock or something in them. But let's see. So we stay up really late because usually I wake up, I don't know, sometimes I wake up at 8, but usually I wake up like noon or 1. So staying up to like 5 in the morning when you wake up that late is really not that difficult. But I know like sleeping, I need to get like some like blockout sheets or like curtains or whatever, because once I like see light, I like wake up every hour. So let's see. Build my 240 or the Datsun. Yeah, the plan is this car. Well, right now it's being used as a shelf. This car right here, going next. So I don't know. It has some goodies on it. I have 6-piston Stop Tech brakes, carbon fiber drive shaft, and then I've showed this a few times to people, but I don't think I've ever showed it on my channel or anything. But maybe a long time ago, but I hydro dipped this manifold. It's a fast 102 mil, and then it has the 102 mil throttle body. So this is actually going to be a CNG LS1, so it's going to be compressed natural gas, around probably 500 horse is what I'm aiming for. I want it to be like a daily driver. So on the street, really over 450 on the street in a 240 is kind of insane. So I think like 550, around 500 would be good. Let's see. So yeah, that's the next project after like the giveaway car and the juke and everything. So yeah, what's going on from the UK? Thanks for watching. It's pretty late there right now, isn't it? It's like 2 something in the morning. So how many years have I been working on cars? I don't know. I've been on and off for like, well, not really off, but since I was like 16, or yeah, 16. I wasn't really into like cars or anything when I couldn't drive them. Like my dad had a Baja Bug, and I could probably show you some of his projects in a second. It's pretty hot out right now. That's why I kind of look sweaty, because I am. But I really wasn't into cars. He always was working on cars, and he wanted me to like learn and stuff, and I was just like, nah. I was always into computers, and I still am into computers. But then like once I started driving, yeah, it was just like car city. So let's see. So How's it going, New Mexico? Yeah, it's a lot cooler, like working at night. The only bad thing is, I'll show you on the hood. Last night, the first time we've ever used a paint booth, and so where is it? Right here. This mosquito decided, I don't know how it got in the paint booth, but right there's a mosquito. So that kind of sucks because it's like paint, but you know, for just like a daily car, that hood's like, it's like $100 worth of clear that I used on it. But you know, it's a lot more if I didn't get a really good discount from Sherwin-Williams. Ooh, Portugal. What's up? Oh no. Oh, what's up, South Africa? Yeah, I think like most, I don't know, for me and like how I used to be, I think it was just like driving. Like it's not interesting because I was always like racing go-karts and like motocross and stuff like that when I was a kid. But like cars really didn't interest me because I couldn't drive them. So, you know, I think that was the biggest factor. So how many cars? Well, right now I have, here's a Juke. There's one of the 240s. There's the BMW. And there's the truck. So that's just like what I have right here, which is like not even like including the 3 VR4s and stuff like that. So is that Chiraco? I don't know if I said that right. What's going on? So what is going on the Juke? So the Juke is the same color. It's just dirty. I mean, hopefully, like, I don't know, it looks really clean. But yeah, right now I don't work. I kind of just live off of what I made at Cummins and stuff like that. Oh, I was gonna show you some other projects, but my dad closed the garage. So we're not exactly sure. So somebody asked about Trevor's truck. I guess it's having some issues. It like doesn't want to start sometimes, but I don't think it's a mechanical issue. I just think it's like maybe like, I don't know, something with the wiring, or I don't know. It's kind of weird because literally we plugged in the scanner into the truck and then it instantly started. So it's kind of strange, I thought. So somebody asked about the 1.5J coupe. This kid really wanted it, so I ended up selling it to him, and then he like tore it all apart and parted it out. A perfectly good like 1.5J, which was I don't know, it was disappointing because it was like 450 horse. I never had an issue with it, and it just blew the tires off all the time. So the 3000 GT, well, all 3 of them are over at the shop. I have been it's been on the back burner because of the giveaway car. So I still need to go get bolts for it. The bolts are up in Denver. We really, you know, haven't had to go up to Denver yet. So I feel like we're going to New Mexico for something, or Albuquerque or whatever, because we need to get some JZs, but I'm not sure if we're going to No Coast, but I have a feeling that we might. So it's kind of up in the air right now, especially with like the truck situation and everything. Oh, somebody asked why I left Cummins or whatever. I left because, so what happened was my boss was laid off and I was put into like another group because pretty much I was like the only one left in the like his group. So then the manager then like wanted to keep all her people. So obviously like I was like the short man out. So then I got laid off the next round of layoffs, which really wasn't a big deal. I feel like I was up in Minnesota. It was kind of not my cup of tea up there, kind of. So, and then you probably haven't seen these either. What are you doing? This is, hey, what are you doing over there? Oh yeah?
You like Dr. Pepper?
Yeah. So where are you going? Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Aren't you done?
Oh, I'm just doing a live stream for YouTube, so.
Oh.
So, ooh, RB or Jay-Z? I feel like, you know, Jay-Z's are really reliable. I think the fact that they're so reliable is they don't rev very high. So like a 2J only revs to like 7,000 RPM, where like an RB sounds 1,000 times better, and they like rev to 10 grand. So I feel like the biggest issues, like if a 2J rev to 10 grand, it'd probably have the same amount of oil pump issues, because it's all in harmonics is like the factor there. So RBs are kind of my cup of tea, and Jay-Z's are Trevor's cup of tea. Team drifting at Pro-Am, I feel, I'm not sure. I think that I would have to put a cage in the G35. And I'm probably going to sooner or later, because the car is actually really fun to drive. But this like year, probably not.
Is that a bird nest in there?
No, it was probably rust in 20 years. Yeah, thanks for saying that, Carl. He said if me and Trevor were going to get a big shop. Probably what's going to happen sooner or later is, well, once I sell my house, I'll definitely build a shop, and then me and Trevor will probably do some things together. The thing with the shop is he's kind of on the edge of actually building a shop at his house that he bought. The only thing is like having a shop in an industrial zoned area, you can pretty much get away for anything. Like that burn off I did a couple days ago, if I did that at my, if I did that like in like residential, there would have been like a big police issue. And like if the cops see us doing burn offs and donuts and drifting and stuff on private property in an industrial zoned area, it's not like they can really come over and say anything because it's zoned so high. Yeah, that's the stuff that Adam showed was pretty much, we didn't really have to go into any of my other containers. So if like we would have went into the other container, I have a 40 foot, it has the 240Z, the other, my blue S13, and a lot of other parts. So it has all my RB and 370Z trans for the 240Z and stuff like that. Did it rain down here? You know, it rained a little bit, but I don't know how bad it rained in Denver. I don't know if I would consider myself like a car collector. I feel like maybe like a 240 collector because, well, at least as long as they're coupes and Z's. I don't plan on ever getting rid of my 240Z, and I don't plan on getting rid of at least a few coupes. Maybe like the LS coupe, the other like blue coupe, and then my like VK vert. I probably won't get rid of any of those. Let's see. So the lady that walked by was my mom, the one that said hi. Yeah, VK swap. My vert is VK swapped. It has a Z32 twin turbo tranny, adapter plates that I design and make. I really haven't marketed them for, I don't know, at least a couple of years. But I mean, I'm pretty sure I was the first person to have like a VK in a 240. It just never like had all the wiring and stuff done. So I'll show you pre-rust. So 240Zs. So this is what happens. This is like the juke, and pretty much what happens in between the fender. So if you park your car under a tree for a long time, this fender doesn't have a way to get the leaves out. So you can see here, let's see. So you can kind of see some leaves right there, and all these leaves on the ground. So every time it rains, it actually gets all these leaves moist, and they're all tucked up against the frame rail right here. So over like, I don't know, 20 years, that if these leaves stayed in there and piled up more and more and compacted and got wet, this whole like part of the body would rust out. So it's like the reason you don't really want to park underneath like trees or anything, because they just leaves are really bad about kind of coming out, and then they also always retain water. I don't know if, like right now, maybe somebody asked about Tommy Effia and Ricer Miata. Maybe like after the whole like giveaway and stuff's done, maybe next year sometime, because right after the giveaway's over, me and Trevor are going to be going to Vegas to go to SEMA. We're going to meet up with Adam, I think Taylor, Nicole, I know Adele and Eads is going to be there. I'm not sure about Nikita, and like quite a few other people, David Patterson and his girlfriend. So it's going to be like a busy year. I think like the first of the year we might be able to do some challenges, maybe with some people if we get in touch with them at SEMA, or like talk about it. We'll see. The grinding noise coming from Adam's 240, I'm not sure what you're talking about. If you could like kind of specify. I think me and Trevor may come to Florida, maybe sometime like the beginning of the year. Not sure yet. Trevor had bad gas in the shop. I don't think so. The only thing that ever had bad gas in it was that VR4 that you guys saw that fuel tank in, and it was like just disgusting. Oh, so the axles, I don't actually think it's Adam's axles, if that's what you're referring to. So when Adam came here, we put the spool diff in, and it's pretty much, the spool diff is just like a solid piece of machined metal. So the axles are pretty much just connected. They're like remanufactured like stock axles, so they may have a little bit of play. I don't think there's any issues because when I put the axles and the drive shaft in, they are definitely like tight. When I tighten stuff, I'm oh no, so the here I'm back on. Let's see. So somebody asked where me and Trevor met. Me and Trevor, pretty much our parents knew each other. So, and we went to, like, he was like in a lower grade than me. We rode the bus together and stuff. So it was kind of, I feel like it was inevitable. I was into 240s. And when he like worked for my parents, he always liked my 240. And then I think he kind of got into cars and then got the Datsun, and then kind of, Jesse since I got Jesse into drifting, it kind of seemed like Jesse shot him into drifting. So I'm not sure if Jesse did or not, but you know, that kind of ended up that way. Yeah, you know, the axles clicking on decel, it might just be like the remand axles, so I don't think it's really a big deal. It's definitely a spool diff, so there's going to be a lot of noise. So somebody asked me about the about all of the 240s I've owned. Which one have I given the most love? It's my blue coupe. It's pretty much like if you go back in a few of my videos, I pulled it out of my garage and stuff. It doesn't have an engine in it. It used to be KA for the longest time, and I pretty much daily drove it and drifted it through like high school and college, and like the last like graduation day of college, like the KA, I used the Royal Purple one time in it, and it like pretty much just nuked the engine. So I got like back from graduation after like the ceremony, like the K was just like coming back from the event center or wherever it was at. It was just like losing power as I got closer and closer to my house. And once I like got in my garage, it wouldn't start again. And then I pulled it apart. It just looked like the cams just like ate themselves. So yeah, that's why I never use Royal Purple, because when I drained it, it was just like, it looked like when you like pour like water out. It was supposed to be like 1030, and it was just like water coming out of my oil pan. Am I gonna build a G35? I think I'll probably mess around with it, and as I get like if I can find coils for cheap, it's just gonna be like a budget drift car. So like if I can find stuff for cheap, I'll throw it on there, but I'm not really gonna go out of my way to like buy brand new coils and brand new like angle kit and stuff like that. So somebody asked about RB25, RB26. I love the sound of, they both sound great, but I feel like the ITBs on the RB26 make it sound, give it a nice exhaust note. But I'm more of like an RB30 person, so RB26 R34 head, RB30 block, and like a stroker like kit. So it's not together, but it will be soon enough. What do I think about 5.3 240s? I'm guessing you're talking about Chevy swaps. Well, I have the LS, and so it's just a cheaper, pretty much a cheaper LS, and you know, whatever you can build for the amount of money you have, it really, like a 5.3 junkyard build, you could boost them and get 400 horsepower out of them all day long, but and you could do it for relatively cheap. Ooh, what's up, Scotland? Yeah, don't use royal purple. You'll definitely regret it. Somebody's asking about E36, E46, S13, S14. I would buy a newer car. So if you already know how to drift, if you have the basics down, if you like are at the point you want to do like ridiculous like angle kit, like stuff like that, I would get a newer, definitely a newer car, because the parts, there's more like parts are easier to come by. So like with Adam's power steering rack, we had to get a used one, which ended up leaking. Like with a BRZ, you can go down to Toyota, get like Toyota, Subaru, whatever, and get a brand new rack instead of buying like a used one, because they don't produce them anymore. So, and they usually have all that stuff in stock, unlike the 240 rack. Have I ever fully finished a build? Well, I'd consider the truck finished. We built the truck. I got it from the auction. The VR4 is finished. This, I don't know what you consider a build, but usually anything that requires like taking something apart extensively. The Juke, that'll be finished. I've had like, I don't know, quite a few cars. The BMW's finished. I mean, this car will be finished. I'm actually in a debate over the color, kind of like seeing that the color for the Juke, this red, just like sitting on the car, almost makes me want to paint this car red. But I was almost like I want to kind of paint it purple or something. I don't know, or two-tone, like an updated two-tone color, like seafoam green with some extra like pearl or something in it. I'm not sure. You know, it's so hard to like decide on a paint color because there's so many different colors of paint, and there's so many different like themes that you can do or things you can do to the paint. Let's see. What all did I do for Cummins? So I was an engineer for him. I worked on high horsepower sets, energy solutions. So it was natural gas, digester. They did like thermal recovery. We pretty much did like the whole integration of a system. So a company like I worked with Green Giant, we did like a whole site for them. They pretty much told us what they wanted. We designed the system and installed it. So, well, I didn't install it. I designed the system and pretty much talked with like the CEOs and their project teams. So that's pretty much what I did. And then I had to do validation and stuff like that, and you know, all kinds of engineering stuff. That takes like one project I was pretty much working on. We had like an oil site that had like a valve recession issue. When I got there, like the first day I started, I was working on the project, and the last day I left, when I was laid off, I was still like validating the like valves that we had in the unit. So over like almost 3.5 years, that we had like tests going on, because the units are prime power applications, but they only run at a certain, like they only run when they need to be ran. So it's kind of hard to get like, you have to have a certain amount of hours to validate a product. Some of the people that I worked with didn't understand that, so they would, to get their validations done, they would have like 100 units and they'd only run them for like 100 hours instead of running one unit at like 5,000 hours to see if that was going to work. But you know, that's kind of what I did. Yeah, I think, well, the stream's kind of, I think it's not that great because of Verizon phone service. Somebody asked if I could ever make your dream build and money wasn't a huge deal, I think my dream build's the 240Z, and sooner or later it will be finished and I'll be able to drive it, so that'll be tight. Yeah, so somebody asked, what is my opinion on rotaries? I really haven't done too much with them. There was one when I worked at the junkyard. It was a first gen RX-7. I think it's a 12A that it had in it. I did some angle mods and exhaust on it. It was just like a yard car. And I changed the oil out with automatic transmission fluid. And I just like pretty much beat it to death, and it never died. So I think the only time you have issues with rotaries is when you boost them. So, I mean, I wanted to put a 3-rotor into the VR4. Okay, so somebody asked about Plastidip. So if you have like a Lamborghini or something that's gonna really depreciate if you change the color of it, a Viper, something like that, I would definitely Plastidip it to change the color or wrap it. But I mean, the cost of paint compared to Plastidip, so like this, you pretty much can paint something and not have to, I don't know, it's just, I don't know if it's easier. It's not really, I don't know, you're still gonna have to paint. So that like dip your car, whatever it is, and they pretty much just like pile on like 10 layers of Plastidip and then just apply the same exact coat that I put on this hood. So I don't know, I don't like Plastidip because it's easier to paint something. So somebody asked if I uploaded a video on the RX-7. Yeah, I have some like junkyard drifting videos, like they're like the beginning of my channel, so they're pretty old. And there's one like I wrecked into a car, so it's actually I caught the rear bumper on like the back of a Subaru and like caved in the quarter panel in the yard, and I like spun around a few times. I mean, it was pretty cool, but you know. Anything in the scrapyard that I like to get my hands on, I think, I mean, a long time ago when I first started there was like a clean, well, there's 2 clean coupes. There's a clean seafoam coupe, 2-tone, and then there was like this white one, and I probably should have bought them, but I didn't. It was a mistake. How long does Plastidip last? It lasts, I think it depends on the like quality of Plastidip you actually buy. But I think it'll last like the life of your car. I think the longer it is on there, the harder it is to get off though. Yeah, I mean, somebody said nothing compares to a good paint job. I mean, when you paint something instead of Plastidipping it, like just like, I don't know, I love the smell of paint. Like when you're painting something, I mean, not just like standing in there and like smelling the paint like forever to get like a high off of it, but just like the smell of it for like a second. Do I like the coupe or the hatch more? Definitely the coupes. I wouldn't mind eventually having a hatch because I have a set of Type X taillights. But I mean, I've always been really fond of coupes, and so all the coupes I have a hard top. So I don't like sunroofs in coupes. All right, so I don't know how long the live stream's been, but it's about time to have dinner, and I'll probably upload a video Monday. So